Why does a virus slip into your computer without everything immediately blowing up and falling apart? That's the first big surprise, and it always catches people off guard. A virus usually slips in through things we trust without a second thought. An email attachment, a sketchy download, or that, "Yeah bro, it's totally safe," USB from a friend. And here's the wild part. It doesn't start wrecking things immediately. Nope. It sneaks in, gets comfortable, and just waits. This is called the dormant phase, and it's all about stealth. The virus has already broken in, often by sneaking into files, macros, or system boot areas. But it stays inactive. Why? Because antivirus software is like a security camera. If the virus moves too fast, it gets caught. By staying hidden in memory or files, it avoids detection and waits patiently for a trigger. That trigger could be a specific date, opening a file, or a system event. Not every virus uses this phase, but the ones that do tend to survive longer. Kind of like rust that forms underneath the paint where you can't see it. Okay, but when does the virus stop hiding and actually start causing trouble? That's when things shift gears. Propagation phase. Let's look at the propagation phase. This is where the virus starts cloning itself and spreading across your system. The virus copies its code into other programs, system areas, or even shared drives. Some versions slightly change their code, called morphing, so antivirus tools don't recognize them. Sneaky, right? Instead of making files obviously bigger, many viruses tuck themselves into unused spaces inside files, so everything looks normal. Meanwhile, your computer starts feeling sluggish. Apps load slower, fans spin louder, and you can't quite explain why. And is that the end of it? Not even close. Some viruses stay in memory, infecting files as you open them. Others hit and run, scan, infect, disappear. Either way, by the time you notice something's wrong, the virus has already spread. And that's exactly when things move into the next stage. Triggering phase. So the virus has spread quietly. But what actually flips the switch? This is the moment the virus has been patiently waiting for. The triggering phase is when all the conditions finally line up. The trigger could be a specific number of infections, a particular date, and yes, Friday the 13th was a real favorite back in the day, or something as simple as opening a file or rebooting your system. Once that trigger hits, the virus shifts from planning mode to ready to strike. Some smarter viruses use what are called logic bombs, basically pre-programmed rules that delay activation. This keeps suspicion low while the virus spreads far and wide first. Translation: by the time anything looks wrong, the virus has already built a whole convoy behind it. Execution phase. Okay, but when does the actual damage happen? Right now. The execution phase is where the payload is unleashed, the virus's real purpose. Some payloads delete or corrupt files. Others overwrite critical system areas, making your computer completely unusable. Some go modern and encrypt your files, then demand ransom like a digital hostage situation. Others quietly log keystrokes, steal passwords, or open back doors so someone else can remotely control your system. You might notice freezes, crashes, endless pop-ups, or your CPU acting like it's running a marathon for no reason. At this point, antivirus software usually wakes up, but often a little too late. The damage is already done. But what kind of virus does what kind of damage? Common virus types. Let's break it down. Boot sector viruses go straight for the ignition. They infect the part of your drive that starts your system, loading before your operating system even wakes up. Old school classics spread through floppy disks and USB drives, and once active, they could prevent your OS from loading at all. Rare today, but still lurking in legacy systems. File infector viruses are more common. They attach themselves to executable files and activate when you run them. Some spread instantly and vanish. Others hide inside unused file spaces like stowaways. Best case, sluggish performance. Worst case, completely destroyed programs. And what about the ones that don't even need programs to run? That's where macro viruses come in. And trust me, they deserve their own spotlight next. These hide inside everyday documents like Word or Excel files. You open the file, macros are enabled, and boom, the virus executes. No shady installer, no warning lights. Back in the late 90s, viruses like Melissa spread like wildfire by emailing themselves through Outlook, clogging servers and offices worldwide. They'd infect document templates, meaning every new file you created became infected too. Today, they're less common thanks to stricter macro security, but Office files are still a favorite target. It's like hiding a problem inside your owner's manual. You'd never expect it until it's too late. Resident versus non-resident viruses. So once a virus runs, does it stay? Or does it hit and run? Here's where the personality split happens. Resident viruses move into RAM and camp there, intercepting system calls and infecting files as you use them. They're always watching. Non-resident viruses are more casual. They scan, infect, and leave. Both spread, but the resident ones are far more dangerous because they're constantly active, like a mechanic secretly rewiring your car while you're driving it. Polymorphic and metamorphic viruses. But what if antivirus software knows what a virus looks like, so the virus changes outfits every time? Exactly. Polymorphic viruses encrypt themselves differently with every copy, making each version look unique. Metamorphic viruses go even further, rewriting their own code entirely. Same function, totally different structure. Signature-based detection struggles here, forcing antivirus tools to rely on behavior instead of appearance. Multipartite and stealth viruses. Now, what's worse than one infection point? 2. Multipartite viruses attack multiple areas at once. Boot sectors and files. Stealth viruses actively hide, feeding fake information to antivirus software, so everything appears normal. It's basically the malware version of unplugging the check engine light. Nothing's actually fixed, the problem's still there. But now the system is lying to you, while things quietly get worse under the hood. And how do these things spread so fast? Mostly because humans click things they shouldn't. Phishing emails account for the vast majority of breaches, followed by drive-by downloads from the compromised websites. Once active, viruses chew through CPU, disk, and bandwidth. Your first clue, something's wrong. From ransomware locking your files, to botnets hijacking millions of machines, to state-level attacks like Stuxnet, the damage adds up to billions every year. Modern malware blurs lines with worms and Trojans. But classic viruses still do what they've always done best: multiply relentlessly and break things at scale. So, how does your computer even know something shady is going on? This is where antivirus software earns its keep. At the most basic level, it scans for signatures, unique chunks of code that are basically fingerprints of known viruses. If the fingerprint matches, alarm bells go off. But modern viruses don't just sit still and pose for mugshots. That's why antivirus tools also use heuristics and behavior analysis. Instead of asking, "Do you look like a virus?" they ask, "Why are you suddenly modifying 100 files, cloning yourself, and hammering the network?" That kind of behavior sticks out like a burnout in a school zone. This approach is especially important for zero-day attacks, brand new threats with no known signature yet. Cloud-based updates help close that gap fast, pulling in fresh intel almost in real time. But what if the virus is already hiding in memory? Then you don't inspect the car while it's running. Booting from a clean USB with offline scanners lets you check the system before the virus wakes up. This bypasses resident viruses sitting in RAM, giving you a clean inspection without the malware interfering. Think of it like booting into a clean recovery environment instead of trying to debug the system while it's live, overloaded, and actively fighting back. And once you know the threat is real, how do you actually stay protected? Spoiler, there's no single silver bullet. Real protection is layered. Firewalls block suspicious outbound traffic. Especially important if your system has been roped into a botnet. Email filters reduce phishing attempts before you even see them. Keeping your operating system updated closes known vulnerabilities that viruses love to exploit. Regular backups are your insurance policy. Follow the 3-2-1 rule. 3 copies of your data, on 2 different types of storage, with 1 offsite. That way, ransomware loses its leverage completely. System repair tools can fix corrupted files after cleanup, and modern endpoint protection platforms go a step further, detonating suspicious files in virtual sandboxes before they ever touch your system. But with viruses constantly mutating, is this fight even winnable? Yes, because defense has evolved too. Polymorphic tricks make detection harder, but combining antivirus, intrusion detection, smart monitoring, and basic user awareness cuts damage dramatically. What used to linger for weeks now gets caught in hours. Most disasters aren't sudden. They're ignored warning signs. Catch them early and you're back on the road. Ignore them and, well, enjoy the tow truck. Before you click away, quick question. Do you think modern tech is actually getting smarter or just better at hiding problems? Drop your answer in the comments. And if you're not a robot pretending to enjoy tech videos, hit subscribe now. You've got two choices next. Watch our recommended deep dive on Apple's most original iOS features everyone copied, or let YouTube pick a video based on what you already love watching.